Hey, this is Brett Miller with the NWFA, and I'm here with regional instructor, good friend, special guest, Lenny Hall, to talk a little bit about the upcoming virtual expo. So, Lenny, we are excited to be having our first ever virtual expo coming up here at the end of the month. And I know you're going to be a key part of this with the demonstrations you're going to be doing. Do you want to just give everybody who's going to be attending right now? I think we're over 1,000 people signed up for this virtual expo. So we're looking great on attendance, and we're really hoping that it reveals everything that we're hoping it does. First ever, so we don't know what it's going to do. But your demonstration is going to be something that we teach at our schools. I know you've taught it at some of our advanced level schools. It's actually one of the skill sets that is taught and expected to be known for somebody going through the craftsman program, and that is bending wood. Do you want to talk a little bit about what it is that you're going to be doing and let people know what they can expect when they see your demonstration?
Yeah, sure thing, Brett. In bending wood, definitely not as hard as some people might think it is, but there are some things that if you're not familiar with it could go sideways on you. And so the purpose of this one is to really give the audience the 101 and then go from there just a little bit into it. Since we only have 30 minutes total, where 15 minutes of it is going to be vignettes of me doing the actual work, and then we're going to have a 15-minute discussion afterwards of what people have seen or what people might want to ask questions on, whether it was actually demonstrated or something that might be related to what I'm doing. But wood bending is a non-complicated but very detail-oriented piece of work, and of course it sets you apart from everybody else if you can do it well.
Absolutely. And I've seen it at schools, and I've, even at job sites where people, anybody can rip down a piece of wood and bend it. That's just the nature of the material we work with. But in order to actually do it on a floor and make it look seamless and make it look natural and actually have somebody stand there and look at that piece that's curved within a floor and say, wow, how did they make that one piece of wood bend around like that? That's the trick, and that's the art. Is that some of what you're going to be sharing with your demonstration?
The demonstration is going to show, how to properly select the board. A lot of people have to work with what they bought, the flooring material at hand. Some people may not have access to raw lumber, which is really the ideal thing to get. And even then, the raw lumber has to have a certain grain feature to it that allows the bending to happen so that when it's completed, it looks the most natural as possible, as if the board was actually bent in that shape or actually grown in that shape of the bend. So that's the key, is how to pick the material out right, how to rip the thicknesses properly, using the right glues, talking about things like spring back, which is what some people see when they put their wood bending in a form. They get it all together and then they take it apart the next day, and then instead of staying in the shape it was when it was in the form, it bows open, and they're wondering why did they go wrong. And of course then they try the hit or miss practice of trying to overbend it, then it doesn't bow out enough and it's not right again the second way. So we're going to talk about those things as I do the demonstration.
That's perfect. And ultimately, I know you had recently submitted one of your floor of the years in one of the categories that had to do with bending circles and curves and even bent wood. And I think that the real art with bending wood to the level that you're teaching and you're talking about is incorporating it into design and letting it appear seamless and flawless. So, you're known for your mathematic wizardry that comes into play with the layout and the design of what you build within a floor system or what you build within a piece of art. To actually create the math and show a pattern or something that seems to be so seamless and natural is really the piece that separates a regular floor guy from someone who is able to sell at this high of a level the beauty of what wood can do naturally, just being bent.
I think at this particular expo on virtual format that we're doing, I won't be able to get into the weeds of that at all. I may touch on it, but I don't really want to lose the audience either. I really want to just show the aesthetics of what we're doing, because there is a lot of computations and calculations involved with the rip thickness, how much stress there is in the wood. Because one of the things about wood bending is that it will be completely outside the normal layperson's thinking, is that when you see a bended assembly of material, people look at it and say it's just static there, but actually there's a lot of pressure within all that wood bending that the glue is overcoming. And that's, so that's why you get spring back on some people's bends, is because when you force a board out of straight, that force never disappears no matter how much you glue it up. It's always there. And so the mathematics of how little force you can have applied so that the glue will overcome the force and doesn't spring back on you, all that stuff, I'm not going to get into that in this one. That may be fodder for a future virtual online class that NWFA may consider if the quarantine thing keeps going on longer. I don't know. But there's a lot of things involved that are on the physics side of it and the mathematical side that I'm not going to get into. I may touch on it, but this is strictly going to be 101 to give everybody a really good foundation of how to start with, and then go from there. One of the more famous bends I had done was an entry a couple years back where I bent a series of Brazilian cherry pieces into a curved nosing that was 236 inches long, which is just under 20 feet. And it was a pretty cool looking piece of woodwork. It was the edge of a nosing for a platform, and it was one piece that we brought to the job site to an apartment building. So it was pretty interesting.
No kidding. That's great. That's awesome. And I agree. I think what you're going to be teaching here is we're hoping it gets everybody excited about the potential for future virtual trainings, and the hopes of getting people to our advanced level schools, assuming we're back at those sooner than later. So this was perfect, Lenny. I know we're all really looking forward to it. I know all of the attendees who have signed up will walk away with a wealth of knowledge that they otherwise wouldn't have had. And to be honest, you're going to probably have a larger audience here than you would have at a live event, only because everybody's able to be there at the same time. So it's pretty exciting. And thanks again.
I'm going to see how the Q&A works on that one too.
It'll be tricky. We'll be learning as we go. Well, great. Well, thank you, Lenny. We look forward to everybody attending our virtual expo. Registration is now open at NWFAExpo.org. And thanks for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you during our NWFA Virtual Expo, April 29th through May 1st.